Well, hello there, essential education students and educators, and maybe some people that are just checking us out for the first time. My name's Jen. I'm the student success coach here at Essential Ed, and we're happy that you found us today. In whatever platform you're joining us from, whether that's Facebook, our Facebook group, or YouTube, we are happy that you are here. We typically get things kicked off with a little comment question for you, meaning a question that we will ask and you will answer there in the comments. And the question today that we're going to kick off with is this. We have titled today's session, Spring Clean Your Study Routine. And spring, yes, has officially sprung. And so that change of the season sometimes leads to this idea of spring cleaning. Now, that might mean cleaning out closets, doing a big donation to your local charity with just extra stuff that you no longer use or no longer need. Some of you, that might mean you get to work on those baseboards. Others of you, you might need to clean out that junk drawer. I have several of those that now you can no longer open or close appropriately because there's so much junk in the junk drawer. Spring cleaning might mean redoing your pantry, kind of going through your refrigerator and cleaning out things that expired in 2015. It's time to get rid of it. So our comment question today, the question I want you to ask or answer rather in those comments is, what big spring cleaning chore do you need to do in the traditional sense of spring cleaning? What's something? Do you need to clean out the garage, clean out your closet, go through clothes you don't wear anymore, maybe change out all of your sweaters and sweatshirts and get ready for t-shirts and some warmer temperature clothing? What is it that you need to do? Let us know there in the comments. And also let us know where you might be joining us from. I know in my neck of the woods, there is a covering of yellow everywhere right now because pollen is everywhere. And but that also means there's baby birds and there's more butterflies, and you see all of these great things that come along with that spring season. And I do love spring, and I hope you're enjoying yours from wherever you are. Well, let's get to the topic at hand today, spring clean your study routine. Again, when we think about spring cleaning, we think about this idea of the seasons changing and kind of a out with the old and in with the new approach. And there are actually really some proven brain chemistry research that we're going to point to today, some brain chemistry studies. There's some proven educational research that we're going to point to today that says these kinds of changes, these kinds of clean sweeps are good. Everybody needs to reevaluate what they're doing every now and again so that you can make room for that new growth. Get all of the things that maybe aren't working for you off the table and revitalize your mind. In the case of study and preparation, revitalize your mind and your body, getting ready to take on new challenges. So I'm going to throw out 7 questions to you today. And these are 7 questions to consider if you need to make a clean sweep when it comes to your study routine. And we say specifically study because we know many of you that follow our channels here at Essential Education or are enrolled with us as students or partner educators. Study is a big part of what is on your mind, what's on your to-do list, what's on your goal achievement list. Many of you are studying for your high school equivalency credential by taking the GED or the HiSET. Others of you are getting ready for college prep, getting ready for some of those entrance exams, or maybe still others of you are preparing for that next job and working through some of our career-based learning. Whatever role or whatever chapter you are along that spectrum, or maybe a combination of those things, study, learning, preparation is a part of what you're doing to get you closer to your dreams and goals. So these are 7 questions for you to ask yourself today to see if you're doing that, if you are making actions that are actually getting you closer to what you really want out of life. And some of them might surprise you. For instance, this first one. How are you sleeping? How is your sleep schedule? I know for many of us, the answer to that is probably not in the way that I should. I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm getting uninterrupted sleep. I'm not sleeping when I need to, when my body needs to. Maybe I'm taking these weird naps during the day and then I can't sleep at night. I went through that phase myself as a college student even. Sleep is really, really important to your brain capacity and to your learning. There is actually multiple studies that you can look at right now that says sleep is tightly linked to brain health. And even more than that, sleep is tightly linked to your memory and your recall. In fact, there's lots of educational and combo brain studies out there that show that studying a little bit and then sleeping right after you've studied can actually put that information into your long-term memory a lot more than if you studied and then got on with your day and then slept later in the evening. There's just these interesting combinations between sleep for the positive. And then on the negative side of that, sleep deprivation, not getting enough sleep, isn't just, okay, well, I'm not taking advantage of all these positive things of good sleep. No, no, no. Sleep deprivation then actually has a negative indicator on your brain health. Long-term neurological studies have shown that long-term sleep deprivation over several years actually kills parts of your brain cells that you don't get back, and you don't get those mechanisms back to put forth in learning and in growth. Lack of sleep also causes an increase in your ability to manage stress well. It can cause an increase in weight gain. And all of those things can lead you feeling sluggish in life in general, unmotivated in life in general. So take a look at your sleep schedule and see what positive changes you need to make there to have a positive impact on your study. Because sleep is linked to memory, mental acuity, and overall brain health. There's one of your facts for today. All right. Here's another question I'm going to ask you to look at this clean sweep. What are you eating? Are you sleeping? And what are you eating? See, you have to fuel your body if you want to fuel your brain. And there are actually things that are called brain food. You may remember this. They used to send out letters in everyone's backpack when you were in that K-12 environment. Hey, we've got standardized testing tomorrow. Make sure you do what? Get a good night's sleep and eat a good breakfast. What were some of the things they put on that list? Bananas. Bananas are brain food. Anything that involves omega-3s or good for you fatty acids and a lot of water. Make sure you're hydrating yourself. All of those things are fueling your body. And then because everything's connected, it's fueling your brain at the same time. And just like not getting what you need for sleep and leads to deficits in sleep can have a negative impact. If you aren't eating right, it's not just a status quo. I'm not taking advantage of those positive things that I can get out of my food intake. You're actually having a negative impact because vitamin deficiencies are linked to memory problems. They're even linked to confusion if you are lacking B12 vitamins or vitamin D, for instance. So make sure that you're eating right, that you're getting enough sleep, and you know what's coming next, don't you? You know what's coming next. Are you exercising? Are you getting out and moving? Did you know that studies show, whether we want to believe it or not, that exercise actually makes you smarter? You're getting all of those endorphins going. You are decreasing your stress. You're improving your focus and your motivation. So get out and just move. Just get out and do something. I was joking with my husband this weekend that I think I'm going to create a gym for people that just want to do a little something. You know, all these gym ads, people are knocking themselves out and they look great. Don't get me wrong. They're really getting after it. They're lifting these crazy weights. They're really getting after the cardio. But the truth is we put exercise in kind of this all or nothing category. Like, well, I need to exercise, 5 hours, 5 times a week, and I need to do all of these things. But the truth is, we say, well, if I don't do that, then I'm not really exercising. The truth is, you're getting improved cardiovascular and brain health if you take a loop around the block. You're getting improved cardiovascular and brain health if you do some sit-ups or crunches or push-ups during the commercial of your favorite show. Just do something. Get that brain going and being fueled by your body in the same way that you do with sleep, in the same way that you do with eating. Get into some sort of movement each day and your study will improve. Here's another one that people love, but they don't think about. Are you taking study breaks? Okay, that's my fourth of the 7 questions I'll ask you today. Are you taking study breaks? And many very committed students will say, no, I'm not taking any breaks. When I sit down to study, I'm there to work. No, I'm not a slacker. I'm not taking study breaks. And the answer might surprise you. I will actually shake a finger of, hey, you need to be taking study breaks at you if that is your answer to me. There's this thing called spaced learning that has long been proven to build long-term memory and critical thinking skills. And it's this idea, I'm going to learn a little bit, study a little bit, and then get up and take that walk around the block. I'm going to get back to it, learn a little bit, study a little bit, and then go get a glass of water. Then I'm going to come back, review what I did, study a little bit, learn a little bit, quiz myself a little bit. And the brain loves that type of learning because you're giving it those spaces to actually absorb the information. You're giving it the time and the space that, yes, your brain needs to take in the information, let it sink in a little bit, go back and review it. Oh, brain says, I remember that. Let's apply that to something else. Learn a little bit more, sinks into that long-term memory. So if you are not taking adequate study breaks, if you are trying to, in all good intention, right? If you're saying, well, I'm just going to make myself sit down for an hour or 2 hours, you're actually doing yourself more harm than good, especially if you are an active, hands-on, kinesthetic learner that needs to get up and move. So make sure that you are taking those study breaks. All right, here's another strange, clean sleep question I'm going to ask you. How's the weather? How's the weather in your neck of the woods? I already mentioned that, this change in season is bringing, lots of welcome things in my area, birds and flowers, and the temperature's really nice breezes, despite the pollen. And we can get over that. There's positives and negatives to things. A change in season can open up opportunities for you to shake up your study routine. If you feel like you're getting burnout on where you're studying, if you're always studying, in one particular place, that's great for focus. It can be. You're kind of saying, okay, this is my study space. This is my designated space. You make it all your own. But a change in season can open up some opportunities to maybe take that study outside, maybe get a different, fresh perspective, maybe get out of fluorescent lights and get out into some bright sunlight, give yourself that vitamin D, all of those things. So consider, based on your weather, changing up where you're studying. Sometimes that can be a really, really good additive into your program. I know that I often change where I study and where I work around daylight savings time. And I know we've got some lawmakers that are trying to do away with that, which may be welcome, but I don't do well when it's dark. I need some bright light. I need some of that awake study. Now that could be totally different for you. So this is a personal question. How's your weather? And is it time to pick a new study location? All right, here's another one. How's your stress? How is your stress treating you? Do something that I like to call a little personal stress inventory and think about some healthy additions. And here's a hard one, maybe some healthy subtractions that you need to make. Think about what your stress triggers are. Think about the places, the things, maybe even some of the people in your life that are stress triggers for you. And think about ways that you can distance yourself from those stress triggers. Now, some of those things are just life, and we have to deal with them. You say, goodness, I've got 3 or 4 kids, and mornings getting them off to school is a stress trigger. I hear you. Similar boat. I hear you. Some of those are must-dos, and you can't get away from those. But make sure that you're balancing that stress with something that de-stresses you after the fact. It's the same concept that someone told me a long time ago about how negativity works. That if you're having negative thoughts, it's not just enough for you to say, oh, I'm just going to not think that anymore. You actually have to replace that negative thought with a positive thought if you then want to take a step forward. So think about your stress in that way, because yes, there are things that we unabashedly cannot get rid of in our lives. We might have a stressful work situation. Our first responders, we see you, we know you, we love you, we appreciate you. That is a stressful job. So think about things that you can add in to your life. maybe some things that we'll suggest here at the end of our time together today, some things that you can add into your life to balance that out a little bit. But if you look at your life and you say, well, there are some things that are stressing me out and they aren't must do's, it's not my job. Are you surrounding yourself with people that are lifting you up? We've talked about this in separate sessions and multiple one-on-ones that we've had together. Successful students are supported students, and it only takes one or two voices to bring you up, and it only takes one or two voices to bring you down. So make sure that you're doing that stress inventory and you're adding in things to combat stressful situations, or maybe you're making some subtractions. You're moving some things out of your life that are causing you undue stress, if at all possible. Your study routine will definitely thank you, because when you're stressed, you can't think clearly. When you can't think clearly, you can't build that long-term memory and critical thinking needed for these exams. Okay, so here's that thing where I said we'd make some suggestions. And this means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And here's the question. Are you staying mindful? And I know that that's a loaded question. That's kind of a, hoity-toity type phrase. Oh, mindful. Are you staying mindful? And here's what I mean. Rest, whatever that looks like for you. Reflection, whatever that looks like for you. And renewal are all important aspects of life change. They're important aspects of setting and keeping goals. They're important aspects of making wishes versus actually achieving those things. Rest, reflection, and renewal. What does that look like? Rest for you might mean taking that nap and getting some of that sleep back into your life. Rest for you might mean doing an outdoor activity or a hobby that you love after you've met some of your study goals as an incentive for that and something that you can do to celebrate. Reflection. Reflection looks a lot of different ways to different people. And we need to do it in kind of two ways. We need to look back at the things that are working for us, the things that we're thankful for, being outwardly grateful. We've introduced several studies to you all in our times together about that link between gratitude and success. Grateful people are more successful. The studies show it over and over because you're acknowledging the things that you have and the things that you've accomplished in your life. That can be an important part of reflection. Specific to study, you can reflect back on, hey, these have been some of my big study and testing wins. These have been some of my big achievements. I passed my math test. I passed my social studies test. And now I'm shifting my focus to these other subjects. That reflection can remind you of those good things. And reflection can also be, hey, let's take a look at the things that haven't been working so well. What's not working in my study routine? Maybe I do need to change up that location. Maybe I do need to change up perhaps the time of day that I'm studying. All of those different things you need to take into that personal inventory. And then renewal comes in lots of different forms. Renewal is something that you can find in your faith. It's something that you can find in meditation and motivation. It's something that you can find in your connection with other people and your relationships. Whatever it is that fills your spirit, it is important to fuel your spirit and fuel your body and fuel your mind. That's what this whole idea of mindfulness really means. It's how everything works together to get us up in the morning, to let us see our circumstances for the good that they are and continue that positivity that's needed to take those steps forward. So are you being mindful? Know that rest, reflection, and renewal are all important aspects of life change, and you can narrow that down and consider, am I practicing these activities in my study? Am I taking those study breaks? Am I reflecting on the things that are working, not working? And what renewals do I need to make? What other things do I need to tap into to energize my study? You can do this and we can help. I love ending our time like this in these live streams together by reminding you that you can do hard things. And also reminding you that life is seasonal. And just like we started today, spring has sprung. So take advantage of, yes, the change in seasons to look back, maybe do away with the old, do away with some things that are not working for you, and add in some things that really can rejuvenate your study here in this new season that we call spring forward into all that is ahead for you. And we have a whole team of people that are here to help. We have student advisors that are available at 1-800-460-8150. They're there to talk through, if you're not yet a student with essential education, what an enrollment plan might look like for you. If you are a student with essential education, they're there to help you focus and get your goals and dreams in a line. If you say, hey, I don't understand this part of my study plan, or hey, what's next for me, or hey, do you have a suggestion on what I should focus on? They're there to help with that as well. And then, of course, if you'd like to check us out online, we've got lots of free resources right there at essentialed.com/students. Great connection points to live coaching sessions with me on a whole array of topics, anything from motivation and engagement to specific little teeny tiny times of instruction. We're going to be focusing on writing and social studies as we kind of make this seasonal change here in the next little bit topically. So we hope you can join us for those times of connection. And we hope that you've enjoyed this time of connection today. Don't forget to say hello in the comments. Let us know what's next for you. What are you going to be spring cleaning around your house? And what are you going to be spring cleaning in your study? We'd love to hear it. Thanks so much. And we hope to see you same time next week.